You clicked for modern ghost towns. You're getting 10 places where the houses stayed, but the people didn't. We're diving into coal fires that never went out, mines that ran dry overnight, and boomtowns built on hype that collapsed before the paint dried. By the end, you'll see exactly how a single industry can inflate a market, wreck a town, and leave bargain homes with no buyers. Ready to tour the fire sale aftermath and find out which place still looks move-in ready until you learn why nobody does? Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Number 1, Centralia, Pennsylvania, the fire that won't move out. Centralia looks cheap. Plots priced like a new iPhone. But here's the catch. The ground breathes. Heat comes up through cracks. The bargain is a mirage. Walk the grid and it feels normal until it doesn't. Mailboxes with no mail. Driveways to nowhere. Sinkholes that exhale warm, sulfur-tainted air because a coal seam fire lit in 1962 kept burning. The state stepped in. Eminent domain cleared blocks. The zip code vanished. A few holdouts stayed, but lenders won't. Even the highway had to bend away after smoke warped the asphalt. Monitoring wells track underground temperatures and gas levels, and the burn timeline gets measured in centuries, not decades. Paper value exists. Real financing doesn't. So, yes, there are houses. No, you can't really live here. Fossil fuel meets forever fire. The risk easily outlasts any mortgage. So if a coal fire can evict a town, what happens when the mine itself just stops paying? Number 2, Jeffrey City, Wyoming. From boomtown to buy one, get empty. Uranium turned Jeffrey City into a sprint in the late 70s. Then the price tanked, and the population cliff dived. Sounds like a deal today. Cheap roofs everywhere. But here's the catch. The payroll left and didn't send a forwarding address. You get streets of empty houses and a high school sized for a crowd, now echo only. When the mines closed in the mid-80s after oversupply and fading demand, families bailed within months. Company housing stayed. The people didn't. The commercial strip? Shuttered, aside from a lodging spot that moonlights as the local hub for a few drivers on US 287. This is single commodity math. When one market runs your town, volatility runs your life. You can buy a block for used truck money, but utilities and services wobble with the tiny tax base. No stable jobs means no buyers. If a market crash can do that, wait till speculation builds a city that never even meets its moment. Number 3, Rhyolite, Nevada, the empty promise in gold country. Rhyolite sprinted from tents to concrete like a startup on VC money. Big bank, real depot. A bottle house made from thousands of glass leftovers because lumber cost time. It bragged loud, fast. Then the ore flinched. The Las Vegas and Tonopah line had delivered hype and supplies, but weak assays pulled the plug. Investors ghosted. Construction froze mid-stride. Houses stayed. People didn't. Walk by the Cookbank ruin. Heavy concrete bones, no heartbeat. The depot sits like a stranded promise. Art installations moved in after capital moved out, because galleries survive where payroll doesn't. Here's the thing. Over-leveraging and speculative claims built a town on paper value. When yields sag, liquidity evaporates, and so does the market. It looks cinematic. It is. But the deal expired with the assays. No water, no industry, just heat and ruins. Some places keep working until the mine quits. Number 4, Terlingua, Texas. Mercury dreams, desert reality. You can score a Terlingua rental with a Big Bend view for gym money. But here's the catch. The silence isn't peace, it's distance. Long drives for groceries, longer for a doctor, and water that always feels one bad week from gone. Cinnabar paid the bills. Mercury prices swung, mines closed, and Quicksilver cash evaporated. What stayed? The heat. Walk past the Chisos Mining Company ruins and the cemetery, and you get the story. Bones of a payroll that left. The revival is casitas and weekend keys, not neighbors. Tourism runs the tab now, which strains the basics. Power flickers. Supplies come in on schedules, not convenience. Summer punishes, winter can surprise. And the legacy of mercury extraction lingers in the soil's reputation. So here's the payoff. Terlingua sells weekends, not forever. More roofs than locals because the jobs didn't return. When hype outruns geology, the collapse moves faster than your U-Haul. Number 5. Pithole, Pennsylvania. The oil boom that lasted a season. Pithole went from dirt to city in months. Hotels, theaters, and a post office slammed with thousands of letters a day. Let that sink in. Overnight prosperity with a timer already set. Then the wells shifted. Production sagged or moved. In under 2 years, the bodies cleared out and the streets stayed like chalk lines after the game. You still find foundations and roadbeds, proof that speed isn't the same as staying power. Here's the thing. Early oil was musical chairs. Lots got platted, houses rose, and when pipelines and refining routes chose a cleaner path, Pithole got bypassed. Infrastructure picked winners. Pithole wasn't one. Number 6, Cambria, Wyoming. Coal town with a timed fuse. Cambria looked tidy on purpose. Rows of worker homes, company services, and a mine that set the schedule for every paycheck. It felt stable because the railroad made it hum. But here's the catch. The seams thinned and rail demand shifted. The Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy could move coal fast until markets cooled and routes favored other deposits. Houses stayed planted. The income didn't. Company towns are engineered for productivity, not resilience. When extraction costs rise and cheaper fuel like oil and natural gas steal market share, there's nothing to pivot to. The math breaks, quick. Across the West, small coal camps followed the same arc. Deposits age out, transportation priorities change, and the workforce evaporates. You're left with porches facing empty streets and rentals no one needs. Number 7. Peale, Pennsylvania. When coal meets corporate exit, Peale was built like a brochure. Straight streets, identical houses, one boss. But here's the catch. The plan ended where the coal seam ended. No exit strategy, no diversity, just a town wired to one balance sheet. When the company pulled back, the money vanished. Schools dimmed. The company store stopped extending credit. Essentials thinned out. Houses turned into scenery, as if the play wrapped and the crew forgot to strike the set. Here's the thing. Workers often got paid in scrip, spendable only at the store that set the prices. That locks you in. Then mechanization arrived. Fewer miners ran more tons, so payroll shrank while output rose. That's how employer-owned housing becomes dead inventory overnight. Number 8. Byrnesville, Pennsylvania. The neighborhood, next to a furnace. Your street looks fine until the asphalt ripples like a stovetop. That was Byrnesville. Lawns, porches, normal. Then heat sneaks up from below and a crack exhales. The mine fire didn't honor the map. Gas seeped, the ground shifted, and relocation showed up with buyouts and bulldozers. 2 clusters of homes hung on, upper and lower. Families weighing memories against readings that kept trending bad. State relocation files and hazard maps spelled it out. Elevated gases, unstable ground, repeat alarms. You don't wait for a house to fall if the air inside can do the same job. So parcels outlasted residents, and demolition cleaned up what risk already emptied. Here's the payoff. You can price a roof, but not a safe foundation. That number never penciled. That's why the street went quiet. Number 9, Ricketts, Pennsylvania, the lumber town that logged itself out. Ricketts started simple. A mill, rows of company homes, and paychecks tied to trees. You cut timber, you paid rent, you bought dinner. Clean loop, until the forest blinked. The mill's output depended on nearby stands. As the easiest logs vanished, costs rose and shifts shrank. Railroad spurs that once moved lumber daily turned quiet, then pointless. Population followed the production curve. Up with the tally sheets, down when the board feet dipped. Let that sink in. Here's the catch. Resource depletion met conservation. As logging faded, the land moved toward protection. The area folded into what's now Ricketts Glen State Park, great for hiking, terrible for payroll. Company houses became liabilities without a mill to justify them. Number 10. Bodie, California. The most photogenic bad investment. From a distance, Bodie looks almost ready. Straight streets, intact roofs, glass flashing in the sun. Then the wind slaps you with broken panes and 19th century dust that sneaks into your teeth. Gold blew this place up to thousands. Then fires chewed through blocks, veins played out, and residents chased better ore. The state stepped in and froze it in arrested decay, which means stabilize, don't restore. Homes stand, lives don't. Walk the schoolhouse with desks askew, peek into saloons, and yes, some kitchens still have dishes. It's the most haunting open house because it can't pay a mortgage. Visitors come by the hundreds of thousands, but there's no power grid, no pipes, and winters that laugh at humans.